Okay, for our last thing we want to do, we actually want to make a database. And with this database, we're going to hold on to the high scores. And we also want people to be able to enter in their names. So we're going to make a high score table. So we're just basically telling the AI, hey, this is how we want our high score table to show in descending order. High score is going to show their name, and it's going to be on the title screen and after the game is done for everybody to see. So it's going to get to work on that. I'm actually using the assistant for that. That could have been a mistake, but it can still handle things like that. I should have put that into the agent. So when it's a more of a bigger change like that, sometimes it's hard to remember because you're just vibing, right? Hey, I should put that into the agent, not the assistant. Because remember, the assistant is more for kind of one-off changes, and the agent is kind of more for larger overarching changes. So I didn't even follow my own advice, and I already messed up that part. So that's just something that we can all learn about, is to remember to use the agent at different agents at appropriate times, which can be confusing at times. So this is an interesting point. The agent has an API route. So this routes means that it's actually a backend call. So Replit does take care of what's called a backend for your game. So it actually uses what's called an API, an application programmer interface, to interface with your application. So you have your front end, which is what you see here. And then you have your backend, which typically handles your data logic and business logic for all the data that flows through your application. And that is what the user doesn't see. So you have your front end, the visual front face that everybody sees, like going to a website. And then you have the back end that has more of the data crunching, business logic, what kind of data gets sent to the front end to then be visually displayed. That's something to keep in mind when you're working with Replit, that it actually does have a concept of a front end and a back end. So it looks like it made an API for the high scores, which is correct. That's what we would want it to do. And it has some extra logic here to handle how the scores are being displayed, what the menu component does, what the game over component does, and being able to hopefully add in our name and handle our high score. So we're going to apply that. It's touching a lot of files. Let's see if the assistant can handle this.